Right, let us begin. Today's episode is called Saving the Nation. So, welcome back to the Rancan podcast, specifically the Rancan Experience. Welcome back to the channel. Please like, comment, subscribe. Your support is appreciated. We viewed a lot of things, a quartet of draws, which is unheard of. It's been a while since we've seen so many draws so far in this World Cup, and we keep forgetting that we're only day five into it. Without further ado, the reason why today's episode of Saving a Nation, we are looking at South Africa and how are they going to dig themselves out of the hole that they're in. So, South Africa is dead last. And we have this fixture that we have to play. Now, you would see that it said the last starting 11, and they showed us the comparison of what has happened here. So, in previous videos, which was entitled Cease Despicable, it highlighted a lot of things that I had in terms of rage and malice towards the national team, more specifically towards the coach's tactics and what he has done. So we are looking at a Czech Republic that has your Patrick Schick, your Thomas Suchik, you have Kufal, who I believe plays at West Ham. So all of these players here are going to be very, very problematic. Now we are looking at South African team that is to be picked specifically for the game on Thursday. So the grass, it's going to be grass. It's at Atlanta, which is the same stadium where Cape Verde pulled off an excellent performance yesterday against the Spanish. Marvelous game to watch. Cape Verde showed a lot of heart and grit, which is clearly what South Africa is lacking. And it's pointing out to various things that maybe I'm getting ahead of myself when I say this, but I find it very shocking. Now, when we look at the squad that is here, with the omission of Sitola, who's going through a suspension and became the meme of the week for his mishaps and how he ruined everything for the national team and how our defense has only lasted for 9 minutes, which is abysmal in itself. We are looking at who is most likely to start that squad come Thursday. Whoever loses this game is out of the World Cup. There's no it's whatever. If you lose, you're out. So we are going to be looking at various things here that have to happen in terms of the national team. For starters, it has become a common occurrence in this World Cup that everybody in this tournament is playing with a loaded midfield and not a loaded backline. Haram ball is not gonna help you here. The whole thing of you're gonna defend all the time and you're not using your resources to the best of your abilities is not going to fly come Thursday. Realistically speaking, when I look at the setup and I also look at the bench for South Africa, there has got to be amendments and changes made. So we've lost these two gentlemen, they're suspended. So when I look at the squad and the players on the bench, we are two players less than the Czechs, so things have to change. First off, the defense could use one less individual in the back. So it's gonna be either Mudiba or CBC who has to go out of the back. They have to move out. Personally speaking, as a person who's coached maybe at a junior level. I'm not that experienced. I would like to get my certificates one day and be an experienced football coach. But what I'm looking at is when you are going to be playing against very high profile countries that are looking to push themselves. Like for instance, Croatia there is just playing a modified 3-4-3, which had the South Koreans panicking a bit. There's got to be a change that has to happen. So South Africa can play their 4-3-3, but just to be on the side of caution, I would like South Africa to actually play something along the lines of a modified 4-4-2 or a modified 4-3-3. The thing is, if you don't have a midfield, you don't have an operation. So we have to look at individuals that are going to operate in the midfield. So, for instance, the likes of Talent Mbata has to be on the field from the start. He's the only available midfielder. Then we have to also look at the idea of Jaden Adams being given more of an advanced position when he moves in with Mokwena. When we look at the striking department, Foster and Reinders have to be on the bench because they didn't deliver on the goods and the promises of actually delivering goals and making us competitive. We actually look like a laughing stock with them up front. They didn't give what we needed. So, since Tembazwane is out, the first thing is Apollos has to start. Then we have to look at Moremi. He has to be on the field. We have to use an injection of pace. Mufukeng has to be in there. So we have to use a very strong front three. Mufukeng is going to be playing as a floating number 10. He's going to be floating as a 10, but we need to play with someone who's going to give us that edge. So in that middle, it's going to be Mufukeng, it's going to be Mukwena, it's going to be Adams and Mbata. Those are the four that we need in the middle. Back four, we still stick with Mudau, Okon, Mbogazi, and Mudiba is fine, which means Sabisi has to go on the bench. But he did do a very good delivery of how to play. So we have to look at our attacking strength because Apollos, Moremi, they have to come on. We have to have a subtle change because we need to dominate that midfield. That's the first thing. Secondly, South Africa has been winless in 5 competitive matches. So the last match that we actually won was against Zimbabwe at AFCON. Things have to change here. If we're going to be playing, we have to play with a very lightning speed. The crosses have to be kept hard and low, along with the shooting. The Koreans did that very, very well. The South Koreans. South Africa has to learn that if they're going to be playing this game, they have to play it fast. Now, noticing that the roof of that stadium is going to be closed, sunlight should not be an issue. But there's going to be that pace that has to be used, and now we have to overcome that quagmire of also the hydration breaks, which can break concentration. So they have to find a way to make sure that they keep the energy going. And if they have any chance, they have to score within the first 15 minutes of the game. Williams, on the other hand, playing from the back, he has to realize now if he's going to play from the back, he has to play with people who are solid. There's a lot of criticism that came from the fact that they blamed him for the initial goal, but it also shows that on a professional level, some players have not mastered the basics of something of along the lines of scanning and looking for spaces in between. Now we have to make sure we have someone who has to be on Patrick Schick on the time. So Ocon has to be on Patrick Schick. We need some skills to keep Suchek busy. So I'm hoping Mufukeng will do what he's supposed to. This is the last throw of the dice in essentially of the national team. If they don't do this, they're out. There's no nice way to put it. It's make or break. Hugo Bruce can't guard, set and guard in the group stages. It's unheard of. And South Africa has to get something. They have to show more grit. They have to show more determination. And the formation that they have to go back to what they remember in terms of a passing blueprint. Because when we look at this formation that you see on screen, right over here, you could see it's not a formation that they were familiar with. They were playing something that was completely unheard of, and it could rattle them. So it's one of three choices in terms of formation. Earlier, I said to you they need to play a modified 4-4-2, or they have to play a modified 4-3-3. The third and the least popular option is playing in the middle with five people just to create stability. And we play with wingbacks. So if that is to happen, it has to be very, very good. So also another thing that has to happen is I would like to see Sibilibili get a run. Kabini also has to get a run. And if it's in the striking department, then they're benching Foster. Evidence Mahopa must get a tag to play, or even Tapelo Maseko. There has to be players who are able to deliver and are not afraid to shoot at goal. Previously, when we played, the XG was poor. Our XG was 0.07. I made a joke about it. I left it there. That is in the previous video if you want to go back to this. What I'm saying here is if South Africa is to win this game, they're going to have to show heart, determination, and they have to have a defensive masterclass as well. But not too defensive. No more low block defending. We have to defend from the midfield. So the strategy would be we have to hit them by containing them in the transitional third and hitting them on the counter attack to get to the final third. Another thing is this upon reaching goal, too many passes in the box or outside of the box is not going to help South Africa. We have to take shots. We are going to have to be brave now. The national team has to put their big boy pants on and actually deliver because we are supporting them. Psychologically speaking, they had a stinker in the first game. Now it is their chance to deliver something phenomenal. If they do not do it, it's going to be something memorable for all the wrong reasons. In defense of South Africa, they're not the worst performing African nation. That honor right now belongs to Tunisia after being thrashed 5-1, which led to the subsequent sacking of their coach. My message to the national team is this: if they go all in and give their best, I'll be proud. We're not there to collect a check. We're supposed to be there to make history, but correct side of history. As being the best of the best. We can't be people who are just giving bits and pieces of themselves. We have to be sharp. We have to play very well. And it's a midday encounter. So, depending on the weather, even the weather is stating that it is 27 degrees. So, in terms of altitude, the altitude should be fine. It's not in Mexico. They must be able to play very well and deliver on a good performance. Now, I'd like you guys in the comments to tell me what you think of the analysis that I've given. So, score wise, it's either going to be 2-1, either way. But I would like Bafana to actually deliver and beat Czechia for the first time. The last time South Africa played Czechia was in the defunct tournament, which was the Confederations Cup, which was back in 1997. We lost that game 4-2. That was the last competitive game that these two nations have played against each other. South Africa, the Congard said they have to win this game. They have a lot to make amends for. They owe the nation an apology, especially during this Youth Week and Youth Month. But we say this to them: we still back you, but prove to us that you can do the job. Right. I leave you with this. Again, your comments. Let me know. Take care. Peace.